to Horror Hour.
We all go a little mad sometimes. We get you.
The dead
Here's Johnny.
Hello and welcome to the Horror Hour. It's the place where we discuss, debate, and disagree on all things horror. I'm one of your hosts, Liam. Hello. And today we come with you with a little non-spoiler review for the House of Usher. And to do that, I obviously needed our grand father of the house, Yutaka.
Hello. They said my government name in the show, but we'll be quiet about that.
Name isn't allowed. So, House of Usher, it is from Mike Flanagan. It is a wicked horror series based on the works of Edgar Allan Poe. Ruthless siblings Roderick and Madeline Usher have built a Fortunado Pharmaceuticals into an empire of wealth, privilege, and power. But past secrets come to light when the heirs to the dynasty start dying at the hands of a mysterious woman from their youth. Oh. So start us off, Yutaka. How did you find overarching show?
Honestly, I have
Just
no
general
notes.
thoughts.
I went into this completely blind. I didn't watch any of the trailers. I mean, I knew of the story, but wow, like it blew me away. The acting, some of the lines too, which I can't wait for you to mention yours, but like the writing was so good and the delivery.
Yeah.
Front, like everybody, almost everyone got like a really great monologue, and even some of the side characters were highly entertaining. Like just Juno Usher. So the other thing is I like how Mike Flanagan likes to recycle actors, kind of like
Yes.
Ryan Murphy, but more diverse. No, just kidding, guys. No, but so it was really great because Juno was also in the Midnight Club, so it was really fun seeing her in this role, completely different. But yeah, I really freaking loved this show so much. I as soon as I press play, I watched all 8 episodes.
Yeah. So I am in slight agreement. I had issues with Juno, but that wasn't the actress's fault. I just didn't see the point in that character.
Okay. I could see that.
But story-wise and entertainment-wise, it was perfect across the board. I say kept you. I wouldn't say it kept you guessing all the way through. But like an episode or two in, you're like, ooh, and then you're like, oh, okay. But then you can just enjoy it and don't have to sit there being like, what's happening? The acting across the board, amazing. Kate Siegel, stand out for me.
Yeah, I would say, yeah.
I'm always down for that bad bitch. And she was the one. She was the one.
Every time she was on screen, she stole the show. Like she just did.
Really did. Yeah, every single time on screen. So even as I say, I enjoyed the whole thing as a whole. Apart from, did get a little bit annoyed. Well, no, I wouldn't say annoyed. I found it quite irritating that they kept most of Ellen Edgar Poe's work for the final episode. And I don't think some of the work that they put into the final episode, don't think it worked as well as they thought it did. I think some of the poems and readings could have been spread further. But there is some episodes where you like 1, maybe 2, and then there's some where you'll get like 3 or 4, and then you've got the final episode, which is basically all just Edgar Allan Poe poems.
Yeah, that's true. I could see that.
On after the other, and they don't really. For me, they didn't blend as well. I would have preferred taking some of them ones from the end, still keeping them in, but sprinkling them more throughout. So you had like more than one or two in each episode. You had like 3 or 4 throughout in every episode, and then it wouldn't have felt so just like washed into the final to make sure they had all them in. But apart from that, everything else was great.
Yeah, one of the things that I love also about this show, though, Carla Gugino, I'm butchering it.
Carla Gugino, yeah.
Thank you. Really gets to play so many different things, and
yes,
I really enjoyed that. And again, her interactions with everyone, just so much fun. Again, as you said, highly entertaining and also very, very gory. And you know I love my gore.
Oh, yes. I was not expecting the level of dramatics when it came to the deaths.
Agreed.
It was giving very Final Destination. But it wasn't, but none of them were derivative of Final Destination.
No.
So it was nothing you've seen in Final Destination, but you could see them in that film. And I think the way that they were shot also allowed, like you could see that it wasn't cheap. They weren't done cheaply. They were done well.
Some of those prosthetics, like some of the makeup, oh my gosh. Oh.
The opening, well, I wouldn't say opening, the end kill for the first episode is
nasty.
Possibly one of the best that I've seen in a TV show.
Yeah,
it was so good.
Mike Flanagan, it's interesting because he definitely went, I think the horror in this was definitely more of the kills and just some of the well, I think the family was horrible. But I think this was very dramatic and
yes.
It was so lush. And I think for me, the standout though, Bruce Greenwood was freaking amazing as Roderick Usher, and so was Mary McDonnell as Madeline Usher. Mary McDonnell, this was a role I'm not used to seeing her play. That was
yes.
She was unhinged.
I will say I agree with you on Mary McDonnell. I think she was fabulous throughout. I don't think Bruce Greenwood gave anything more than what he gives usually. So I wouldn't have classed him as a standout to me. I thought the person who played his younger counterpart was actually better.
Zach Gilford? Okay.
Yes. Well, who was bugging me throughout the whole thing of watching this, and then I realized in like the second to last episode why he was bugging us. It was bugging us because I was like, he looks like someone, but I know he isn't that person. I can't figure out who the person is. And then eventually the coin dropped. He looks like the actor that plays Nolan Ross in Revenge.
I could kind of see that
in Revenge, not now, but like in Revenge when he had like the long, like the shaggy hair and stuff. He looked like him, and it was bugging me so much that I couldn't figure out who it was, but it was him. Again, I also think Willa Fitzgerald did a better job as the younger Madeline as well, though.
Dang.
I think
okay.
The older Madeline, it didn't seem like the same character to me.
Well, she was. I
felt like Mary McDonnell was playing her very differently than how Willa Fitzgerald played her.
Well, I think she was more mature.
And I don't think it was any. But it didn't have anything to do with maturity. They were just playing different characters. It was the same name, but it was completely different characters. Like Willa Fitzgerald was very Um, in the portrayal of Madeline, she was very forceful, opinionated, um, and had the flair for dramatic, but knew when to use it. When Mary McDonnell, as the older Madeline, came across as, don't want to say meek because she wasn't meek, but she
No,
was
I
very
was gonna say
subdued.
nice.
No, she was, yeah, she was subdued in
Okay.
comparison to young Madeline, and she didn't. There was a lot of times where you were like, if it was the younger, or if it was the younger version, she would have done this, but she's actually done this, and it's like the complete opposite to what the younger version would have done. There's no subtlety to it. It's just it's very direct and to the point, and I don't think it's like a because they never gave us anything to show that it was growth as a person. It was just it's how that version of the character is going to do it. Still very good,
Mm-hmm.
but I did find it disjointed. But I still enjoyed it. I still enjoyed both actresses. I just think one did slightly better than the other.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I was thinking in terms of, with the flashbacks and you see them basically fighting for everything. And then I think in the present, though, everything's different to where they own and control everything. So I feel that's why she was more subdued because she didn't have to go to the lengths that she did in the
She
past.
did. That's the problem.
Well,
And she
you find
did
that
go
out.
to them lengths, but she wasn't doing it in the same manner. That's what I'm saying. She wasn't. She was doing the things that she was doing as a younger person, but she was doing them in the way that she always was telling the younger version of her brother not to do things. She was doing the opposite of everything.
Well, they also had
So to
Arthur
me, it
Pym.
didn't make sense. Well, they did. And
Oh,
again,
okay. We need to also mention Mark
very
Hamill
good
was
acting.
awesome. I loved this role for him.
Again, but he was the same as Juno for me. I didn't really understand why he was there.
He was their fixer.
Yeah, but he didn't see him do any of the main fixing.
Well, no, you sometimes don't have to see it. You just see uh, he's more behind the scenes, and he has a great monologue as well.
He did have a good. He did have a very good. So towards the end, he did get better. I think there's a few nitpicks where the character. I think characters weren't either weren't necessary or they didn't give some characters enough to do until further down the line. Which by that point, you kind of didn't care.
Well, I think
So I
that
think
was sometimes uh, a part of how, like, the structure of the show, because each episode felt like it focused primarily, on
oh
one
yeah, yeah, yeah.
one sibling.
But you got a lot of some siblings,
Mm-hmm.
not a lot of others. And I think
True.
it made you not really care. I think if they'd have taken out Juno's character, and I think if they'd have taken out, although he was excellent, Mark Hamill's character, and made the siblings, give the other siblings, a bit more to do, you would have had more affection towards the other siblings that you don't really get to spend much time with. But having empathy and for them is kind of pivotal to having feelings for their episodes. I don't think they sowed the seeds well enough to give you sympathy. And I
You're a
think it's
better
just
person than
because
I am because they were awful people. So I was not didn't have
but
any,
the,
I was
I
not.
think that's the difference. Well, that's the difference then. The show was clearly trying to tell you to feel sorry for these people.
I
The
didn't
fact
get
that you
that.
didn't pick up on that is miraculous.
I didn't
But
get that
the
because
show
they
was
were awful
definitely
people.
they were awful, but that's what I'm saying. The show they were awful people, but the show was pointing you to feel sorry for them and pointing you to feel like it was all the father's fault. So you were supposed to feel bad for them and and not feel bad for the father or
Well,
the
I mean, I
sister.
didn't feel bad for the father either. I
All the
think
signposts. It was very much signposting that. And I
if
don't think
they
they
weren't,
did it well
if the
enough.
kids weren't behaved how they behaved, it'd be completely different. But they did so many heinous things, and again, some of the lines they even said were just they were awful people, and so I
Yeah.
didn't get that. I think I reveled more in what how everything plays out, but I didn't. So, but fair if
It's
that's
fine.
you know that's my takeaway. I think it was. Oh well, never mind. Can't say that. That's spoiler. I personally, I didn't. I enjoyed watching them, but I didn't feel for them. Um, okay, I take it back. One of them I did because I think they really. I mean, again, they all did terrible, terrible things, but I do believe one, actually at a certain point had good intentions, but I do think again as these kids continually grow older, I think everything just becomes warped. um their moral compass becomes warped. So
Yes. Agreed. Um, so we've had my good, we've had my bad. Do you have any bads? Any
again, like
nitpicks? And
I really didn't because I think it for me it takes a lot to I mean because this is what like an hour long show 45 minutes to an hour long show, right?
no, every episode was an hour.
Was it okay to
Oh,
sit there, not move, and watch it from beginning to end? To me, like it was enthralling. It was captivating. I'm sure. I think from maybe a critical standpoint, I would completely agree that that end episode was very. It was just very heavy in terms of I don't know. It just felt bogged down, as you were,
yes.
saying. But
Yes.
I enjoyed the resolution. Again, also I like Carl Lumley's character a lot as well. I just honestly, casting was great. They really
Yeah, I think the
casting was
both
on point.
the young and old what is it, Augustine? I have him here. Augustine, yes. Both the young and old Augustine were extremely well cast and extremely well played. You could tell they were the same character in the mannerisms, the way they acted, things like that. And I thought they both really stood out. So it was Carl Lumley and it was Malcolm Goodwin.
A
Yes.
little iZombie reunion with him and Rahul Kohli.
I never watched iZombie.
I did. So it was really cool to see them in this show. But yeah, I really, if anything, maybe that final episode, uh sure. But I
Yeah.
still I had a blast. I again mm, that's a spoiler, so I can't say that. I just I really thought it was a twisted tale. I thought it went very dark and it wasn't as heavy as Midnight Mass because Midnight Mass was just at times soul crushing. I didn't feel that
Mm.
this was more
Oh no, nothing was soul
this was
crushing.
just
This is
entertaining
just
and
fun.
I mean I was laughing quite a bit. Just again because Kate
Yes.
Siegel.
Kate's Eagle all the way.
uh
Excellent.
yeah.
So out of 10, what would you give it?
I mean if I don't have any notes, but I hate saying, something's completely perfect. And again, maybe that final episode. So I'd give it, a 9.
Okay. I would say for myself, even though it was a good time, it was entertaining. I did find myself picking at things while I was watching it. So for that, I would have to probably go with like a 7.
Okay.
Because it was really good, but I had issues that I think either another episode could have fixed, or if they'd have put it up to 10 episodes, so that the beginning of the series was more family focused, and then we started getting into things.
Mm-hmm.
Possibly, I would have enjoyed it more, and I feel like that would have also gave the ending a bit more time. Because I feel like there was a lot to wrap up in that 1 hour final. I don't think they had enough time because
Yeah, they
we
could
hadn't
have.
found out anything
I
about the
don't know,
past. We
maybe
hadn't
2
found
extra
out
episodes,
any
but
of
they
the
could have.
stuff.
Maybe an extra half hour would have been nice.
Well, so that is our thoughts. That is our feelings. That is our opinions. If you have any opinions, if are you excited for it? Do you know what's going to happen? Write it down below. Tell us what you think. And you remember, please do subscribe, hit that like button, and also hit the notification bell so you are notified anytime we upload further content. We are currently in the middle of spooky season, so if you would like to stay around, we do have every Sunday throughout October a spooky season quiz hosted by myself, where all of your favorite, well, not all, but people that we know in the horror space on YouTube come together and battle it out to see who has the biggest horror brain. So follow along to see who wins that. Also, you could follow us on our socials, so Twitter, Instagram at the Horror Hour TV. We also have a Patreon, which is linked down below, and we have a membership with our beautiful Yutaka here, who will be having weekly watch-alongs, watching all the bits and bobs of horror. It's popping up here, there, and everywhere because horror is the best. So, thank you for your time today. Bye.
You have been listening to the Horror